I'll do my best to get through this song tonight. I've asked Donna to, I love to tell the story behind songs. And again, this, for me, is very sacred ground. I've sang this song, I think, 3 times. This will be the 4th time, won't it, Mom? The 4th time, probably, in 18 years. And, of course, I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember writing this song. I vaguely remember waking up with the thought, when I would wake up, Donna's going to tell you a little more detail about this, but I can remember several occasions waking up, and Brother Alec, it just seemed to ring in my ears, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And the name of this song is Don't Be Afraid of the Valley. Don, if you would just take just a minute and tell a little bit about about how this come to be.
Well, he preached Sunday night, and then Monday he got up really sick. We had about a 12 to 15 hour ER stay, and they let him come home. Tuesday he slept most of the day and got up, made a bowl of ice cream, came sit down at the table, and planned his funeral. And told me that something didn't happen by morning, he would be dead. He went on back to bed, and about midnight he woke up and started through the hall, and he was dragging his foot. He was paralyzed on his right side, and he came in and laid down on the couch, sat down on the couch, and I'm skipping a bunch of details. But anyway, in long story, he had a seizure, and I knew I couldn't get him to the car, so I had to call 911. After he came out of the seizure, he was paralyzed from the neck down. He couldn't speak. He wasn't talking. We could move him, but he would just flop like a fish. And so we took him to the hospital, and all night they ran tests and ran tests and ran tests. And about 8:30, the doctor came in, and he said, "We're taking him on up to ICU. We don't know what's the matter with him, but we're going to run some more tests." So finally they came back and said, "Well, the only thing left we know to do, we can't find anything. We're going to take him to do a spinal tap, and what we're looking for is leukemia in its last stages. And if that's what we find, then he doesn't have a long time to live." So they took him, and they come back, and there's humorous stories about all this account, and there's sad stories, and there's exciting stories and sad stories. But this is the one that was on my heart this morning. And so anyway, the doctor came back and out, and he said, "Miss Kerns, I need to talk to you in this little room over here." So he took me, and Lydia went with me. Lydia was just almost 10. And we went into the room, and he shut the door, and he said, "Well, Mr. Kerns, I have some good news, I have some bad news, and I have some really, really bad news." And he said, "The good news, it is not leukemia. The bad news is meningococcal bacterial spinal meningitis. That usually kills you from within 8 hours of it getting in your body. We know that it's been in his 72 hours, and there's no way he will ever outlive this. The really bad news is that he won't make it. I mean, in just a couple of hours, everything starts shutting down, and he's an organ donor. So when we give you the word that he is as far as he can go, then you're going to have to make the decision to unplug him." So you've heard Clint say this. So I asked him, I said, "Well, what if he lives?" And he said, "Ma'am, you don't understand. He's not going to live. There's no chance of his survival." And I said, "Well, I've talked to another physician." And he said, "Who is that?" Kind of really sarcastically. And I said, "The great physician." And I said, "I just don't know. You know, he's in the great physician's hands, and he can help us. And we just have to wait and see." And I said, "I just don't know at this point." I said, "I believe there's hope that he'll live." And he said, "Ma'am, you don't understand what I'm saying. Do we need to get you some medicine?" All this kind of stuff. So anyway, he was in a coma for a total of nearly 6.5 days. On the 3rd day, he woke up. Some of the youth choir had come in, and we were standing around his bed. The youth choir had just learned and recorded Rock of Ages. And we were singing that, and all of a sudden Clint looked around. He opened his eyes and looked around, and then he just lifted both hands, and he started directing us. And he didn't say anything. He didn't sing with us. He just kind of directed us with his arms, and he went right back to sleep. Then probably the 5th day, I was back in there. Of course, y'all heard the story. The set was the 3rd night whenever he woke up. I went in there, and he was humming, "It Is Well," but he was still in the coma. But on the 5th day, I was in there, and they had me doing exercises on his feet. And he woke up and he said, "Hey, get a pen. I need you to write these words down really quick before I forget them. I've just wrote them in my sleep. I don't think I've ever wrote a song before in my sleep." I said, "Well, okay." So I got a pen and wrote it on a napkin that was on the food table there that they had brought me to eat. And this is the words that we wrote down. We haven't changed anything in 18 years till today. We changed a couple of words to make it sing better. But this is where we were that day. And we've clung on to this verse for a long time. We don't sing this song a lot, but we've claimed this promise many, many times. So here it goes.
We can't always live on the mountain. We need dark valleys to grow, for it's there God tenderly draws us aside to teach us what He wants us to know. So don't be afraid of the valley, though the path seems to bring you much harm. If this is the path God chose for you, just remember you're safe in His arms. I walk through the valley of death's shadow. The way seemed unknown and unclear. Then the voice of the Lord whispered sweet peace to me. Don't be afraid, child, I am here. So don't be afraid of the valley, though the path seems to bring you much harm. If this is the path God chose for you, just remember you're safe in His arms. So if this is the path God chose for you, just remember you're safe in His